What's going on, Socialites? Welcome back, High Society, to episode 42, GPS Tracking, your podcast for everything you need to know about what's going on in the global Pokemon Society and Pokemon news in general. So, we got a good one for you this week, folks. Regular season is over for Season 4 of GPS, so we're going to get right into the playoffs. We're going to be joined by Dave, head coach of Reno Weezings, for a little postseason interview. And Anthony of the Pittsburgh Polteageist is going to be joining me to break down how the teams ended up, kind of ranking them S through D, and comparing that to our preseason rankings all the way back like 10 freaking podcasts ago, what we thought they would be before the season started. So, let's get right into it, and let's take a look at the minor leagues first. Alright, so right here we're taking a look at the final standings for the minor leagues. So, we can kind of see what the top teams are. We got Florida and Southside Slow Kings, both 5-2 up at the top. Diamond Desert Dwellers and Slateport Sableyes end up at 4-3. And then we got Daytona at 3-4, Worcester Wobbuffets and Australian Arbox at 2-5, and Gardner Gyarados bringing up the rear at 1-6. So all these teams are going to make the playoffs, and you're going to see them, go from Florida versus Gardner, Slow Kings versus Arbox, Worcester versus Desert Dwellers, and Slateport versus Daytona. If you win the first week in the minors, you're automatically guaranteed a chance, if you so choose, to compete to join the majors next season. So you just got to get that one win. Gardner could upset Florida, and they could have a shot at making the majors. And then, of course, if you win the minors tournament, you're guaranteed you get a spot in the majors. So a lot riding on this tournament for these teams who want to show what they've learned, what they can accomplish, moving up from the minors to the majors. So I'm excited to see how some of those go. We got some awesome Poketubers on here in the minors who I'm sure would want to make it up to the majors. And who knows, maybe next season we might even expand upon the minors. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you're a fellow Poketuber even, and you're interested in recording Draft League battles, definitely hit us up and let us know that you'd be interested in. It is something that we are thinking about. With that said, let's go take a look at the bread and butter, the major leagues. Alright, Socialites, here we got the 10 teams comprising your Season 4 Major League playoffs. So let's start at the bottom here, because these are the teams that got to play this week. Squeaking in as the number 7 seed is going to be the Driftvale City Dragapults at 5-3. And they got to go up against the underdogs, picked up Melmetal and came all the way back from really being 0-4. It's the Tokyo Togekiss, so we'll have to see. I know I'll be happy to see either Magearna or Melmetal knocked out in the first week. I don't want to have to deal with those steel threats. And we got the 8 and 9 seeds, Vero Beach Volcarona taking on Paris Saint-Germain. So I'm sure that'll be a fun game. Again, it all comes down to can Paris get their trick room up. If they can, then they'll have an easy time. If not, they're going to have to outplay the sheer offense of Vero. Then looking at our division winners, we got your undefeated for the second season in a row. Regular season anyway. I know Reno had my number in the playoffs. Boston Braviaries. And this time, it's championship or bust. I think we can all agree on that. Then you got the Pittsburgh Polteageist, who clinched the North Division at 6-2. Denver also 6-2, clinching the West Division. And then Reno, only 4-4, but that was enough to get the South Division. So congrats to them. And then the other two teams getting the bye are the Miami Heat Rams, who started slipping in the latter half of the season. I think they lost their last 2 games, so they were 5-1, only lost to yours truly. And then they lost their last couple, so they got a lot to prove in the playoffs. And then same thing with Charm City Charizard, really slipped in that latter half. Remember, they started off, I think it was 3-0. I think they were the last undefeated team besides us, and you see they went 2-3 the rest of the way there. So they get a bye week. They can shore some stuff up, create some strategies, and then go from there. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the playoffs here. Who do you like? And let's wish the best of luck to the teams that unfortunately couldn't join us in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the mighty Psyducks lost on differentials. Having a forfeit last week really hurt them. Minnesota made a nice run in the end, but it wasn't enough. LA and El Paso both started off very good this season. I think at one point LA was 3-2, and at one point El Paso was 3-1. So you saw they really slipped down in the second half. Tuscaloosa, of course, didn't have the season they wanted and then dropped out with a couple weeks remaining. Then Sin City, womp womp. Sorry, we'll have to see who replaces you from the minors. With that said, though, let's get right into an interview with Reno and head coach Dave. Hey, Socialites. We're joined by Dave, head coach, the Reno Weezings. How's it going, Dave?
Hey, crew. Not too bad. Just another day in paradise.
In paradise, Reno paradise. There you go. So, speaking of paradise, Dave, you end up for the second season in a row clinching the South Division. So you have a top seed. You get a bye week. How's it feel going into the playoffs?
Interesting. I didn't think I made much of a performance this season, especially not to earn a bye like that. But considering the performance of my division, I guess that's how it turned out.
That's all it takes, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But no, you played well, and for those who didn't watch the ranking of the teams, I won't spoil much, but we did give your team a very good ranking as well. So, I expect that you'll be doing well in the playoffs as well, especially with some time to kind of unwind and take a step back from the grind week in and week out.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are your plans during this bye week, Dave? Are you going to be doing anything Pokemon or society wise, or are you just like letting it all like flow out of your brain for a week?
Well, no, hopefully I'll get like some of my Pokemon ready. I've had Rhyperior on my team for a while and I haven't really trained one. So that'll be like at least, the lowest bar I can
actually train a Pokemon. So
yeah.
You can use it. Maybe train that Scrafty and Omastar so you can trade me mine back.
Yeah, exactly. That too. Yeah, for sure.
All right, nice. So now that the playoff picture is all set, Dave, again, you kind of alluded to that you're maybe surprised isn't the right word, but 4-4, winning the division, getting the bye. Are there any surprises or teams you weren't expecting to make the playoffs here?
I haven't looked at who actually made it, but from what I was seeing, pull it up
real quick.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so we see for the division winners, you got Boston, Pittsburgh, Denver, and Reno. Then you got Miami and Charm City both getting a bye. Then you got Dragapults, Vero, Paris, and Tokyo being the other four teams.
Tokyo is surprising. They were pretty low, at least in the first half of the season. But I saw that Metal was... Metal's crazy. I didn't realize.
Crazy.
I don't never play Pokemon Go, so I don't have access to it. But yeah, it's like it's kind of like last year from what I was seeing. but not as heavy on the special defense, but like way more extreme on the
Yeah.
physical side. And steel typing is way better than ice. So,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
but yeah, it's pretty cool. The other one is like charm being as high as they did. I think that they did really, really well this season. Like they definitely every season they make a big leap in their performance. I know that like this I think third season was it that they were
Yep.
like winless, and then
That was season 2. They were
oh
winless.
season 2.
Yep, and then they went 4-4 last season, and now 5-3. And they were in the hunt with Pittsburgh for their division title all season.
Yeah, well,
Started off really, really hot.
no surprise that Anthony did as well as he did. That Anthony's a pretty good gamer in general, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I told him, he didn't have to play against me, so
Yeah.
that record's a little weighted for him. Dave, throw some accolades at me. How's it feel to be on a podcast with the 2 in a row undefeated regular season coach?
You're just hamming it up by now, huh?
It's all I got because you knocked me out of the playoffs last season and
I
couldn't
know,
even take home the trophy so that at least I could say I lost to the champ. No, you had to lose in the next round.
I guess yeah, no, that's considering the upped competition this season, that's definitely certainly a an achievement for sure. Especially like Heattrons were someone who seemed to know what he was doing for sure. Yeah.
I had to play against you, Dave, so
Me, yeah.
I had to get my
Of course.
revenge. Speaking of, I guess, increased competition, or kind of a side note, do you like statistics, Dave? Do you like analytics?
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
so I got some analytics.
Oh, okay. Let's see him.
All right, so this is the schedule here, but you see at the bottom I got SOS and SOS Plus, right?
What was that?
This is strength
Same
of
version.
schedule, and then adjusted strength of schedule. So you can see what your opponent's win-loss ratio was, and then the adjusted
Gotcha.
is if they didn't play against you. So
Okay.
you take that out. So obviously above 1 means that you had a very tough strength of schedule. Below 1 is it was easier. 1 is average. And if your adjusted is higher than your normal, that means you kind of like played above your schedule, because it means that teams were doing worse against you than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like you were doing better against them than the rest of the league. So we can look at this just real quick. So unfortunately, I don't got bragging rights of having a very tough strength of schedule. Some of that is because I was beating everybody, but even the adjusted is just a 1. So it was a pretty as average a strength of schedule as you could get.
Sure.
Basically.
Yeah.
Charm City, you said they were doing really well. Look at their strength of schedule, the 0.6. That's a pretty easy schedule. And then we look at a 6-2 team in Denver, 0.42. So
I don't know how I feel about these easy schedules both having me in them, but
I'm just saying. Well, I mean,
know.
Denver's division really weighed it down because they had 2, 3, and 5 teams, then 0 and 8 teams. So going up against those really weighed down their strength of schedule. But then you see Dragapults, they had a pretty average strength of schedule, a 1, and then adjusted was a 1.07. Same thing with El Paso, pretty average strength of schedule. LA had a somewhat easier one. Miami, see, here's where we get to like a little more difficult. So they got a 1.2 and then a 1.33. So their strength of schedule was a little tougher than average, and they actually played up to it. is what that means, because that number is higher. So good for Miami, especially their first season here, to go up against. You look at that first team they had to play week 1. Oh, that's a tough week 1, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. Tough week 1. Tough beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Although they did beat Pittsburgh, they did go on that kind of like 4 win streak. I think they won 4 in a row.
Did they?
Oh no, they won 5 in a row. They were 5-1 at one point, and then they lost their last 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they got a kind of a, they got a bye week, so maybe they can, readjust and get ready, get back in the mindset. So we got the Ducks. Their schedule was a little easier. Minnesota, that's the toughest schedule. So they made some adjustments later in the season, but yeah, they had a very tough schedule. They had to go up against Denver, Boston. They had to go up against you, who they won, but Pittsburgh they had to go up against. Charm City, who they also beat. So they did beat a couple good teams later in the season.
Came out in the end. Did they make playoffs?
No, they did not. Yeah, that first part of the schedule they couldn't get any traction with. Paris, slightly harder than average, but nothing crazy. Pittsburgh, about the same as mine, so basically an average schedule. So the top 2 teams actually had a pretty average schedule. Reno, look at yours, Dave. You had a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty.
Yeah, you had to go up against Pittsburgh, Boston, Denver, Charm City. So you had some good teams. Sin City actually had a really tough schedule too. I mean, they went 0-8, so I guess they can, use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
And again, Dave, just to toot your horn, your adjusted was higher than your strength of schedule, so that means that you played well in your games.
Okay.
Tokyo, pretty average.
You feel a little better, I guess.
Yeah, they see. There you go. Pretty average, so slightly below. Same thing with Tuscaloosa. They had a pretty average schedule, but of course they dropped out at the end, and then Vero a little bit less. So for those who like the analytics, you can kind of look at that and you can be like, well, of course Boston went undefeated. Look at their schedule. If they had a schedule like Reno's, they'd be like 6-2 or something, So,
yeah, I feel like everyone had a big team they didn't face at some point.
Yeah, I feel like the only big team I didn't play was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Charm City too, but I think I can beat them. All right, so that's that for the playoff stuff. But so how do you feel though, Dave? So actually, we already know who you're going to be playing in your first round.
Who's that?
You are going up against Miami.
Ooh, okay.
The 5 seed versus the 4 seed. So. Ooh. You just said I didn't get to play against Miami. Well, here's your shot.
Cool. I gotta read up on. I know that they have the Multras.
Yep.
And
I think last year will be very good against their team. Arcanine could probably give you some troubles. He's not afraid to Dynamax it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think he's a physical Arcanine, so that does kind of help you, unless he wanted to make it special based, bring a different one. But you like to run the assault vest, so maybe you don't care.
Sometimes assault vest, sometimes
weakness. Sometimes
we'll see.
Yeah, so I have to see how that goes. But how do you feel? So a little bit of spoiler alert for you, Dave, because you haven't seen this podcast, but Glastrier is going to be in the running for the season MVP.
Ooh.
So do you think he's got a shot, or do you feel like, I'm only bringing this up because you bring it up, Dave. Do you think your team record is going to hold him back from shining?
I'd say of all, last season, I don't think I had a clear MVP as much as I did for this season, where it's obviously I put a lot of I guess, stock into
a lot of
Glacier. Because if Glacier gets like taken out or put to sleep, I'm in trouble usually. But and I don't know if that's probably not a good thing. So I don't know if I'll
throw a Lumberry on him.
Yeah, well, I did on some weeks, but then it ended up not mattering. And then the weeks where I didn't think it'd matter, like Charm City with Clefairy with Sing, I didn't think would matter, and he ends up hitting like all three of his Sings.
I know, what the hell? Everybody was hitting their Sings and Hypnosises.
Yeah,
and lovely kisses. It was like you couldn't miss.
It was all the sleep coming from places I didn't expect it. So, but I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I think he's definitely. I bet like teams going to get up against me. Like if I had to go up against a Glacier, I'd be like, what do I do against this? And I guess sleeping is a pretty good strategy, but that's why I brought Al Creamy kind of deal.
Yep. There you go. Swap him in there. Wake up.
Yeah, but yeah. That's cool. That's cool to hear. I hope he does well. I'm sure he's up against some other ones like Melmetal and is Melmetal in there? I know Melmetal's team didn't do all that stellar, and they're in the
I think if Melmetal
stuff.
had a really good final week here, they would have made it, but they ended up winning with other Pokemon. So Melmetal didn't have like the crazy 5-6 KO week that I think would have boosted it up. So taking that into effect with Tokyo's overall record with the limited number of games that Melmetal did play, because it was only available for about half the season.
It's too bad we'll never see any of these support pokes in here. Like, even though he got like maybe 1 KO the whole season, like my Oranguru is just gonna never, or I don't know, any other support pokes like your Jinx probably won't get a MVP season title because they're just kind of they're in the side.
That's how it is in sports, right? The quarterback wins the MVP awards. The home run hitters win the MVP awards. The highest scoring, like. That's why they have like the 6th Man of the Year award that they give to like the scrappy little players and all that. But Jinx is going to be representing Boston in the All-Star game, so Jinx has that under her skirt. So we do get some support Pokemon, some accolades, and some time to shine. So Glacier is going to be representing you in the All-Star game as well, though, Dave. How do you...
I voted for Oranguru, but no, Glacier makes sense. Absolutely, he'd be kind of who I expect. I mean, makes sense.
Do you have any tips? We don't know yet if Cole or Ali is going to be coaching the team that Glacier is on, but do you have any tips for them for how best to coach up Glacier?
If you've got any Trick Room setting up abilities on your team, try to bring them in when Trick Room's up. And unless the other team has a renowned sleeper or maybe even a burner, but that's not as big of an issue, I'd say put Assault Vest so that he's even more unkillable, or weakness policy if in case you're fearing someone lowering his attack somehow. But that's
I think I'm trying to remember all 12 Pokemon that made it, but I think actually Jinx might be the only Pokemon that can set up Trick Room that made it. I could
Jinx
be wrong.
Is pretty fast. I don't know what the other team is looking like, but if your Glacier is the only Trick Room setter, it might not be that big of a deal to get Trick Room up, but
I mean, it's still bulky. I've used it on the ranked battles.
Target.
I've used them on ranked battles and not even like set up Trick Room. Sometimes it's just like, hey, I noticed you don't have anything that can really kill this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. So, Dave, any well wishes for the coaches who didn't make the playoffs this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember which ones aren't making it, but I know like
So the Psyducks missed out by
Minnesota
one.
were like on a
Minnesota,
upwards
yeah.
trend at the end of the season, so I kind of feel bad that they didn't make the playoffs. I feel like if they had one more weekend, maybe they could get another win and change things. They whooped my butt. They brought in a pretty nice Crobat that foiled all my plans. Uh, um, I I know. Well, sorry. Who else?
The Psyducks, LA, El Paso, Sin City.
Yeah, Psyducks surprised us this season, I think, with that nice win streak
sure.
in the middle. El Paso, I know that they I had a pretty like I kind of trounced them on the first week, but then I was nice. I was surprised to see that they were actually a pretty formidable team later. It's just that stuff like ice kind of ate them up.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of ice weaknesses.
So many dragons and whatnot. Yeah. But LA, I didn't really see much of them. But I know they did pretty well last season.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last season.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Unfortunately for some of these teams, they're going to have to defend themselves against some minor league teams looking to move their way up. So we got some fun, gimmicky sort of challenges for them to do, which I'm not going to spoil right now. But
if Sin City had been able to choose their team, they might have been higher. Who else didn't get to really choose their team? The Psyducks, considering he did pretty well.
Psyducks picked some of it, like about half or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they wanted Venusaur and they wanted I think Braviary and Sylveon, and
Gotcha.
they had some, but yep.
Very cool.
But yeah, so Dave, you like gimmicky stuff. Are you looking forward to the challenges I'm going to put together for some of these minor league coaches after the playoffs?
Oh, sure. Didn't know that was that was in the cards.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So the winner of the minor playoffs, they're going to replace Sin City. Sorry, Sin City, you were the winless team. Some teams got to drop. But the other three finalists, if they so choose, they will get a chance to challenge the other lower major teams.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna give them teams, so it's gonna be team codes, and it's gonna be like gimmicks, like kind of like a gimmicky sort of battle.
Okay.
That they
That's
have
cool.
to do.
I love gimmicks. Yeah.
So I've got some stuff in the works. Got to train some different Pokemon and do things, but yeah, should be fun. And maybe we'll see a whole new slew of teams next season. But we got playoffs, Dave. Playoffs. So looking forward to that. Hopefully you do well. I'd love to see you in the semis so I can knock you out this time on my way to another championship.
Yeah, well, you never know. Hey, it was a surprise last season. It might be a surprise again.
Oh, Dave, but before you go, did you watch the top plays of the week last week?
Was it like no? I didn't. Why?
The number 2 play of the week, Dave. You gotta go
the fake outs?
Yes.
I think yeah. I did see it. That was actually pretty
hilarious.
Funny. It's like yeah. All of the good editing on that makes it
there's another fake
stand out. Yeah.
Fake out.
Here comes the fake out.
My wife was counting them as there was like 9 of them or something, like 8 or 9. I can't remember.
Fake out's pretty good. Yeah. Beats Rage Powder. That's kind of. I came into there like, he'd probably bring a Mungus trying to Rage Powder these guys, but I know fake out's faster.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, for those who missed that, go back a couple podcasts and check out the top 5 plays of the week. But thanks for joining us, Dave, and best of luck in the playoffs.
All right. Hey, thanks. You too, man.
Hey, everybody. We're joined by Anthony, head coach, the Pittsburgh Polteageist. What's going on, Anthony?
Here's Ryan, feeling real good tonight. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah. Clinching the number 2 seed for the playoffs, beating out Charm City in the tightest division battle in the society. So able to clinch that and get the number 2 seed. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Not gonna lie, I was super excited when you messaged me on Discord and you were like, "Hey, by the way, he lost. You have a chance." I was like, "Oh shit, I do." So very excited. So,
all you need is a chance, but you did break 1,000 hearts by knocking the mighty Psyducks out of the playoffs. So I think you got some fans that you need to apologize to.
I'm pretty sure if I remember back to the first podcast, I said they might be my rivals. We were talking about that, so maybe I've cemented that.
The Ducks were trying to make everybody their rival this season, and unfortunately they had that forfeit a week ago, so I think that really cost them. But Ali had some personal stuff, so we all understand, and we wish him the best. And now, might be a silver lining now that he's not got to prep for the playoffs. He can kind of focus on some of that stuff, but
prepare for next season to dominate. Come back and dominate.
There you go. He was just outside. It was just by differentials. He missed it by like 1 differential point.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yep. All right. So Anthony's joining us this week to take a final look at all the teams, how everything's settled at the end of the season before we go on playoffs. And we're going to rank all the teams S through D rank, and then see how the end of season ranks compared to our preseason ranks. So we got a lot of work to do, Anthony. Let's get right into it.
I'm here. Let's do it. Clocked in. Let's go.
All right. So first things first, I think we should see where all the teams kind of ended the season. So this is the final standings. All the playoff teams up here: Boston, Pittsburgh, Denver, Miami, Charm City, Dragapults. Those are all your teams that were over 500. Then you got a couple 4-4 teams, Reno and Vero. Then you got a couple 3 and 5 teams that were actually able to squeak into the playoffs, Paris and Tokyo. And then you got our teams that are out of the playoffs, the Ducks, who, as you can see, only missed out by Ducks. 1 differential point. Although the next tiebreaker is most KOs from a single Pokemon. I think Melmetal has like 20-something KOs. So
yeah, that Melmetal is
so
definitely
I don't know if Psyducks would have won on that. We got Minnesota, LA, El Paso, Tuscaloosa, who dropped out with a few weeks left, and womp womp womp, Sin City at the bottom. So let's go take a look at everybody's final rosters very quickly, because we don't want to make this a 2-hour podcast. But
I mean, no one's gonna watch it. I'll do 2 hours, but I can't.
Oh, I don't know. What? let me know in the comments. Would you watch 2 hours of this? Well, we're gonna try to do this in about like 30 minutes or so, because we got other segments this podcast as well.
Sounds like a plan.
Anthony, how have you been liking what I've done though, with like the separate stuff on the podcast? I know
I love it. I like how it's a different kind of setup. I think it's cool that we kind of I love plays of the week. Those are really cool to have. I enjoy those every week.
Did you like the one a couple weeks ago with every fake out that Paris took?
That was actually awesome. And I mean, I loved watching you fail my challenge I gave you.
That was painful. I wanted to just shut it off, because I knew like there was like 5 minutes left, and I was like, I know I'm missing a bunch of water types, but my mind is just blank now. So
it's
I wanted
okay.
to just end it, but
you made me feel better about myself, because I also forgot Krabby was a Pokemon. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
All right, so alphabetical order. Although the number 1 team is our first team. Humble brags. All right, so this is Boston Braviary's final squad. So you got Landorus, Politoed, Jinx, Ludicolo, the only 4 who stuck around all season.
Mm-hmm.
We got Duraludon, Kingdra to upgrade the Rain Game, Obstagoon, Slurpuff, Galarian Slowking, and Rapidash. So we don't have to make too many comments on the teams unless there's something that you want to bring up, Anthony. But I'm sure as we're ranking, we might bring something
I think
up.
your record speaks for how decent your team was, and the coach is good too. I'll give you credit, but it's a very solid team. Definitely Rain's. The Rain team is a very solid choice for the weather. Some Pokemon that have just really overperformed for you. I mean, Jinx has been really good for you this season.
What a slut.
Just that whore.
Kissing everybody. All right, next we got probably the closest thing to your rival this season, Charm City. You guys were neck and neck for the division.
Pretty much, yeah.
All season. So this is where they ended up. Kyurem, Dragonite, Clefable, Latias, Tapu Bulu, Nidoqueen, Tauros, Hitmonchan, Virizion, and Togetic. This isn't updated for stats from this week. They did bring Virizion this week, but this is their squad overall.
No, I think they have a solid team, extremely solid team. Power of the Dragon type, very strongly shown in this team.
Yeah. Then we got Denver, our number 3 team. They got the Sandcore, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Inteleon, Conkeldurr, Meowstic, Shiftry, Toxtricity, Vikavolt, Butterfree, and Lopunny.
Yeah, another solid team, solid weather team. We've got a lot of the high placing teams to start. I've noticed it's kind of funny how that worked out, but yeah, you can see where these teams
you wanna A to like F name to be the best.
Clearly. Well, I'm stuck in P, well, that sucks.
Yeah, you had to work extra hard with that P name.
Sure did.
All right, then we got Driftvale. They've got Magearna, who I think was a great late pickup for them. Not that I don't love Rillaboom, but
my boy, I love Rillaboom. But yeah, Magearna's real good.
Yeah. Alolan Ninetales, Keldeo, Naganadel, Espeon, Exploud, Tyrantrum, Sirfetch'd, and Frostlass.
Yeah, very powerful team. Very aggressive.
Yeah.
Looking at these Pokemon, very, very aggressive team.
Yeah, I thought it was... I didn't really agree with them dropping Sableye when they did because of that. Like, it took away their only, support option. But, I mean, they're in the playoffs.
They did well enough, yeah.
Yep. So next we got El Paso Electros. They got Zygarde, Garchomp, G-Max Gengar, G-Max Inteleon, Zarude, Starmie, Gudra, Noivern, Torracat, and Spiritomb. They never swapped anybody around this season, so they started with and ended with the same team.
Very aggressive team. I played against them in the regular season. Very aggro team.
Next, we got the LA Kinglers.
Ooh, hello.
Shift around there. They got Dragapult, Diancie, Aurorus, Talonflame, G-Max Snorlax, Lapras, Tangrowth, Scolipede, Ninjask, and Toxapex.
Now, if I recall, they were one of the random teams from the draft, I think. So I think they did pretty good with kind of rearranging their team quite a bit, and making it a little better.
Next, we got Miami, who was a top team through most of the season. Galarian Moltres, Togekiss, Arcanine, Hatterene, Hitmontop, G-Max Pikachu, Rotom-Mow, Mandibuzz, Pincurchin, and Dugtrio.
One of the 2 teams to beat me, so I was scared about them. I remember day one of looking at this team when I had my team at the time. I was just like, "Ooh, this team is brutal."
Next up, we got the Psyducks. Womp womp.
Still sorry.
G-Max Venusaur, Regirock, Porygon Z, Braviary, Sylveon, Aerodactyl, Alakazam, Umbreon, Stoutland, and Throh. Again, another one of those teams that ended with who they started with. No changes throughout the season.
And again, I think they were another random team if I remember from the draft. So, hey, if they liked it, let's keep it.
They had a few that they told me to try to get for them, and then I think some of it was kind of random. I was actually surprised with how I mean, no offense, Ali, but I was surprised how well you did this season with the team that was assembled.
Definitely. Some major kills from G-Max Venusaur, seeing those records there.
Even Aerodactyl, 18 kills.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's not... Actually, I think that is updated with your game. I could be wrong, though. Or maybe it's not updated with your game.
He killed one of my guys. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got the Minnesota Neato Kings. G-Max Urshifu Single Strike, G-Max Grimmsnarl, Crobat, Blastoise, Terrakion, Machamp, Azelf, Galarian Darmanitan, Unovan Darmanitan, and Charjabug.
I'm really surprised they kept both of the Darmanitans, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to flip one.
Mm-hmm. But it does look like a very different, because I think they were my first game in the season. It's a very different looking team than what I remember them playing. But, you know.
Yeah, they... I like their Grimmsnarl pickup. I feel like it would have helped them if they had done it a little earlier and utilized it. Just because, you know, pranks are screens to make their team bulkier. But, I mean, they were one of those all-out offensive teams that if you couldn't deal with their speed and stuff, then you were going to have a bad time. But
yeah, Crobat's a pretty decent tailwind setter too. You know, it doesn't have priority, but it's still very fast to set that.
Yeah, the only way to really get around it is if you have like priority taunt or something, because you can't flinch it.
Which I did.
I just ignored it.
Works for you.
I was like, I don't care if you're faster. I'm bulkier and stronger and smarter.
Ooh, shots fired.
Bang, bang. All right, next we got PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, Incineroar, Amoonguss, Azumarill, Malamar, Gothitelle, Galarian Slowbro, Jellicent, Copperajah, Drampa, and Greedent.
Hugely good support Pokemon on this team, just noticed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know I didn't play them in the regular season, but like looking at this team still is like, you know, I don't know how much offense they have really, but, you know, support wise, they are strong.
yeah. Incineroar, Amoonguss for sure. Huge. Gothitelle.
Oh, yeah.
Can be good. Yeah, they were. I mean, we'll look back at our previous rankings, but I remember don't quote me on this. I think we gave them either a high B or an A rank. And I said that I would like them to do a few moves because they are very super reliant on getting that Trick Room. And if you have a way to deny that, then you just clobber them.
Sounds about right.
With the speed.
Hey, look at this team. Gorgeous team.
Pittsburgh Polteageist. We got Urshifu Single Strike, Whimsicott, Raichu, Gyarados, G-Max Duraludon, Klefki, Corviknight, Gardevoir, Sandaconda, and G-Max Centiskorch.
Absolutely perfect team. Couldn't give it anything else. This team is the face of beauty. No. No, I did think my team was great, though. I love this team was phenomenal for me all season. You know, some big MVPs. You know, the core members of my team, I think, were definitely core. And then, you know, I could put in here and there, but, you know, yeah, just felt like a really good team all season.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you said, I think you have a very solid core, and it's very hard to kind of break it for most teams. All right, next we got the Reno Weezings, our Southern Division champion. They got Glastrier, Rhyperior, Omastar, Pelipper, Alcremie, Scrafty, Toxicroak, Heliolisk, Oranguru, and G-Max Garbodor.
Yeah, I played them early on in the season. This team definitely looks pretty different from that. I like it a lot more actually now. Kind of was it had some all over the placeness to it, you know, before, but I definitely like a lot of what's going on here now.
Yeah.
You know, Glastrier is a monster. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if Glastrier can get set up, he can
go to
break
town.
Through teams for sure. Next, we got the Sin City Squirtles. They made a couple changes, but they have Tornadus, G-Max Charizard, Scizor, Nidoking, Mienshao, Sceptile, Delmise, G-Max Toxtricity, Arctovish, and Aromatisse.
I think they could have utilized their Pokemon a little better, from the matches I watched with them. I mean, they're the only team. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but, definitely seems like Tornadus was a bit mismanaged this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree with Tornadus there.
But, other than that, I did like some of the team, even though it was another random one, I think.
Yeah. This was a completely random team, but I think it had good pieces. Again, just wasn't utilized. Tokyo Togekiss, Melmetal, Mimikyu, Hydreigon, Bisharp, Gmax Alcremie, Dusknoir, Uxie, Shiinotic, Mr. Rhyme, and Beware.
I mean, the other team I lost to this regular season, Melmetal, I think was the smartest thing they did. Clearly, I think the record shows, they were 0-5 before picking up, or 0-4, I think, before picking up Melmetal.
Yeah,
and the rest of their wins.
They went 3-1.
Yeah, Melmetal's an insanely good pick. I think Mimikyu's a great support for Melmetal to set up the Trick Room because it has the, the disguise.
Yep.
So I think, I think that was really all they needed to have an A+ team.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely scary. If you put a Mental Herb on Mimikyu, it's very difficult to prevent it from
it wasn't fun
off.
For the record.
Yeah.
That's what
and
screwed me.
And then, Melmetal being able to Dynamax is just going to be a bad time for the few turns. It's so strong and bulky, especially when you double its HP.
Yeah, even when you hit it with super effective, any kind of defense, its defense is so high.
And you just throw a Assault Vest on it and
go to town.
Shirt up its special defense. Yeah, for sure. All right, Tuscaloosa Talonflames, Torkoal, Venusaur, Charizard, Suicune, Reuniclus, Magmar, Aselgor, Palossand, Dedenne, and Noctowl.
I mean, I thought they had a really good team. It was unfortunate, obviously, that they had to drop out due to, issues in their life, which, is unfortunate. But even before that, we were talking before the podcast, and I was shocked they had fewer wins throughout the games they did play.
They were 1-4 at one point.
Yeah, and their team seemed very strong. So I was I wasn't really watching much of their matches. So I was I don't know where this is getting lost on this, or if people had plans for the Sun. Because their Sun core seemed very strong.
Yeah, I definitely was expecting a lot more too, but unfortunate Jack had some stuff going on, and we can all understand that, life and all. And last but not least, the Vero Beach Volcarona. We got Gmax Cinderace, Tapu Koko, Mesprit, Tornadus Therian, Xurkitree, Articuno, Alolan Raichu, Silvally, Kommo-o, and Type Null.
I remember their team standing out to me when we did the draft with how many electric types it has, or had. I think it still has pretty much a ton of electric types still.
Yeah.
But, it's a great type. One weakness, if you're able to kind of circumvent that, as best you can, I think, which they did. I think they had a very good team. Overall, I liked this team.
Yeah, it's another one of those I think is pretty aggressive.
Very aggressive. Nope, I don't see really any pivot Pokemon very much for that.
No, I mean, Tornadus can kind of, pure flying regenerator. You can, throw an Assault Vest on there and kind of U-turn, or you could do like Tailwind stuff. But you're not going to be really swapping stuff in and trying to
No, there's no bulk. There's not really much bulk on this team.
Kommo is probably the closest thing to bulk, but that's not saying too much.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, let's get to ranking these bad boys.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll just go in the order from what's on here. I think it's mostly in alphabetical order, except Tuscaloosa threw themselves at the front, I guess.
The front.
Yeah, so, all right, so they dropped out. As you said, even before that, they were like 1-4, 2-4, something like that. So we can put that a little bit into play, but I want to look more at the team overall, and then have like.
Yeah, I don't want to let the record impact too much, because I think like I said, team-wise.
Like if we're thinking like between B or C, then we can let the record or like the coaching decisions come into play. But overall, so they have the Sun Core, they had the Palossand to Selgor combo, they picked up Suicune, later in the season for a bulky water type that can do stuff like tailwind support. So just based on their team, Anthony, where do you like Tuscaloosa?
See, yeah, like I'm trying not to let the record impact my decision.
I mean, it's going to impact you somewhat, right?
Yeah, I'm like between S and A, honestly. I think they had a really, really solid, like looking at all of the teams, like they had a lot going on where I was just like, honestly, genuinely shocked with some of the records. So it's like, I would say like A would be more where I'm leaning, but maybe B would be fine too. You know,
right. Can I make an argument though?
You can make an argument.
All right. Here's my argument. Since this wasn't in alphabetical order, the next team up on this, 8-0. Okay, we're saying we're not bringing the record in, but when the record is so far and above, the next two teams were both 2 wins away. They weren't even 1 win away, Anthony. They were 2 wins away.
All right, you're convincing me. Well, B's fine with me. B's fine.
So I'm just saying, is there a team that can sit next to Boston at S rank? Yours is the closest.
Listen, I think my team is great, and we just weren't in the same league, in the same division. Shots fired right now, calling it out.
I'm just saying. So I think given everything, I think we got to put B for Tuscaloosa.
B's fine.
I think they had the potential and everything, but
the team was good. The team was good, and that was my argument. The team I think was solid. Like I said, if the shock was me was the record. The team looked very good. So
yeah. All right. So I did.
All right. I wonder where you're going for yourself there, Ryan.
What? I'm gonna let you decide.
Yeah.
And if you decide wrong, I'm going to put it in the right spot.
I think you deserve it. Your team looked great. It did. Looked great all the games I watched online. You had a really good season. You know, I think you're a good player in general. So, but just watching the team composition has a lot going on with it. I think you have a lot of options where you could go with your team. You know, obviously you have the water core, you know, rain core. But you also have, you know, pivot, you know, a lot of different kind of pivot Pokemon. You know, Landorus is just an insanely good Pokemon.
Landorus is just, he was like a panic pick too, because I got screwed out of what the pick that I did want. So he was just like, my plan A didn't go through. I'm just going to panic pick a really good Pokemon.
Pick one of the better, Pokemon in the league. That's fine. I think you deserve the S, honestly. I think the team was solid. I think you picked up some good Pokemon here and there to kind of... Getting Kingdra was a huge pickup for you, I think.
Yeah.
That was so good in the rain.
I felt a little bad because I had to give up Scrafty on that too, and Scrafty's a really good support Pokemon.
He is.
But
I
feel like I had enough support. All right, next we got Charm City. So they're the ones that really just picked up every dragon they kind of could later in the season.
Well, I know what I liked about them, and I mean, I played them in the regular season, and
you played them pretty early on too, right?
Yeah, we did.
Like
but I like
4.
Yeah, they had the dragons, you know, which, I mean, dragon type is great. I mean, fairy definitely obviously nerfs it quite a bit, but I mean, the dragon type is still the reason the fairy type needed to even be created was dragons were so dominant, you know, and dragons are great. So I think, like, you know, just having that dragon core is really good. And I like that he has alternative strategies or, like, you know, nice little combinations, you know, like we saw a lot, like the anger point with Tauros.
Yeah,
like,
but he got rid of that. I kind of like that because it was something that was just like, hey, if you can't outspeed my Tauros, I'm going to just knock
it. It did work in our match. I remember it doing work in our match. So that was surprising.
Yeah, I was surprised when he dropped that.
But he also, I noticed, I watched this week's game where they did lose, but he had the Virizion also with like the Justify boost. Like, I think he had some good strategies.
Yeah, he's trying that, but he's using Neato Queen for that.
Yeah,
which isn't the best. Like, it's not fast enough.
No, I think he has some good ideas going. So I would say to me, they're like between an A and a B. Like,
I want to give him high B.
Okay.
Just because I don't know. I think if they had kept Urshifu and not gone Kyurem, I would like their team a lot more. Like, you'd still have
Kyurem
the two
felt weird to me,
dragon
I'll be
types.
honest.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Kyurem, I was like, I don't really like Kyurem as a Pokemon in general.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's okay. So I thought that was a weird loss. And I mean, I'm biased. I think Urshifu is disgustingly good. But,
yeah.
You know, the usage shows that, and also, yeah. I would say that was a weird drop.
Like, imagine going up against this team now, right? Like, say he's still at Urshifu, like he has Dragonite, he has Tauros. He could still have picked up Virizion, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Virizion was C. And if he had gone something that could maybe side proc a weakness policy, like just something with like Ice Shard or whatever onto like a Dragonite, then you're looking like, okay, every week I'm going up against this guy. I don't know if he's bringing Anger Point Tauros. I don't know if he's bringing weakness policy Dragonite. I don't know if he's bringing beat up Virizion here. Like he could have picked up a Weavile that would have had Ice Shard and beat up.
Oh yeah, and that could have procced both of them. No, I think those would have been probably some
like if he had all three of those, and then you would just be afraid of Urshifu just in general because it's Urshifu. Like I think that would have been a lot scarier team. Like not being able to know, like, okay, he's going to do some sort of Dynamax gimmick, but which one are you going to be prepared to stop?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think probably could have made some. Like I said, when I said it, like, well, A, B, so I think B's totally a fine pick. I think there were some questionable choices there.
Yeah. All right, next we got Denver. 6-2, they got the Sand Core. They also got like a little bit of a Trick Room thing going on, so they can play on a couple different like speed axes there. Where do you like Denver?
I think Denver was a solid A team. I think they've got some really good stuff in there. Honestly, I like their team a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the record shows it.
I'm trying to think like exactly what they were kind of lacking. A lot of teams, I mean, it's hard to get like good fairy types unless you're looking like in the high tiers. So I know.
A lot of very fragile fairies are in the lower tiers. I picked up Gardevoir later in the season, so
yeah, which is probably the best lower tier one though, easily.
I felt so, yeah. But
all right, next we got the Driftvale City Dragapults. Where do you like Driftville, Anthony? Like I said, they kind of got rid of their only support option in Sableye, so I feel like that.
Yeah, it's very aggressive.
Their team more, yeah.
Yeah, I would say B-ish, C-ish. I wasn't. Yeah, I like I said, I'm a big fan of hyper offense in general. Like, I mean, if you look at my team, it's hyper offensive, extremely offensive. But
yeah,
like,
you can operate on different speed with yours because of the Prankster Tailwind. He doesn't have like a Tailwind thing like that, so his
I agree.
Kind of what it is. But he does have very snowbally Pokemon with Magearna and Nagandel.
Yeah, so Beast Boost and Soul Heart are both very powerful.
If you can't stop them early, they can kind of just start one-shotting.
Plus, Steel Fairy is such good typing. I mean, it's really hard to put up an answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, probably Fire type. Some sort of Fire type is the best because then you resist both of its stabs as well.
Yeah, but how many really good Fire types? I mean, Fire is a great move, but not many great Fire types in general.
Yeah, that was something that I was trying to find, but there weren't any.
Sadness.
All right, next we got El Paso Electros. So where do you like El Paso, Anthony?
I'll be honest. I think they're a solid C team. Looking at
I think that might even be a little generous from you, but
I'm trying to be nice. I always feel like I'm aiming higher. Playing against them, I didn't really have many worries against that team. Just kind of knowing as long as I got my speed up, because that team was literally just all hyper offense, which is great. I got again, that's my jam too, but. I knew as soon as I got on Tailwind, the games were over. And that's kind of how it went. So I think once you kind of get past that, you had nothing really to work with. So yes, ED, honestly, just wasn't a lot going on outside of the aggression.
All right, then we got the LA Kinglers. So they were kind of like a mismatchy team. They picked up GMAX Snorlax late, which kind of gave them some of the bulk and power that they needed, but it was a too late sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that one's another C or D team. I'm trying not to be mean. I'm I don't know. It's not a personal shot, guys.
We'll put them in C. I probably like them above El Paso.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I do think that their overall team is better than El Paso, I think, because they did make a couple moves to kind of improve upon it.
No, I think the teams that took advantage of like the free agent trading, most of them, like you said, there are a few questionable ones, like you said, like the Kieran for Charm City. But yeah, I think there were a few questionable moves, but for the most part, the people I saw trading regularly really improved their teams.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I trade too much, but I'm like, ooh, I like this guy.
I drop someone literally, I think, every single time. So, I can't feel biased. I
like to use different stuff.
Shore up all your weaknesses, I think.
Yeah. All right. So Miami Heat Rans started off hot, but they kind of cooled off these last, I think they lost 2 out of their last 3 or something. So kind of cooled off at the end, but they beat you.
They did beat me, and
so
like I said, they were the
respect.
When I looked at like team makeups going through the season, I think they were the only ones where I really looked at their team and legitimately was like, I don't think I can beat this team. Yeah. Granted, my team wasn't what it is now, and I have different plans now, but like when I looked at his team, I was like, I guess we're taking the L this week. So honestly, I still, maybe that's biasing my opinion. I still think they're like an A or an S team. I think. No,
I would definitely agree with A. I'm not putting anybody in S.
Wow.
But no, I can agree with that. I think they have a very solid core. I definitely think they have a little bit of redundancy in their lower team, but I mean...
Yeah, there's some of their team members where I'm like, Pikachu and Pinchurk, and I'm like...
Yeah, kind of redundant.
What are you doing here, and yeah, they're kind of redundant. But yeah, I think...
I like that they picked up Hitmontop, but they never used him.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think, they already have a solid Intimidator in Arcanine. Like, I didn't understand what the Hitmontop was for.
I mean, I don't mind having double Intimidate. If you're going up against a team that has like 3 physical Pokemon, you can bring both, and you can
definitely
some switching stuff and all that. Eject button and then just bring another one in. I like him on top. It gets Fake Out.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Hitmontop as a Pokemon, but I just didn't see what it really added to his team that much. You know what I mean? Like looking at his team.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I also just really like Fake Out, and he didn't have any Fake Out Pokemon, so for him to just add
Fake Out's a very useful ability, so yeah.
And nobody in the league ever picked up a Indeedee, or a Lele, so you're not really going to shut it down. All right, next we got the Minnesota Neato Kings, so they were our Crobat Hyper Offense team.
Yeah, can we go back to their team a little? I don't remember all the details. Are we able to do that? Just real quick, because I remember the I remember like the Crobat. I remember the Urshifu. Picking up the Urshifu was a really solid choice. But yeah, okay, I like this team definitely a lot more than when I first saw it. I still think it's a little, like, I do love the Grimmsnarl, but I do think it's a little too one note again, like very offensive, very like again the double Darmanitan, the Azelf, those 3 Pokemon that I feel like are literally all the exact same thing, and Terrakion too. Like they're all like just very aggressive, like frail, like hit things, need to hit things without, and you do have speed control with Crobat, but like I would say this is like a solid like BC, like in that range, you know what I mean? Like
I think I would. I mean, we might move stuff around, but I think I would go with C.
Top of C, like that's what I'm more saying with like B or C. Like if they're definitely either top of C or like low end of B for me.
All right.
Oh, look, it's the best team in the league.
Oh wait, let me add something here.
F tier, total trash. Oh no. Oh no.
No. All right. Son, just to shut up the haters, because I know if I didn't put any other team in the S.
Listen, I'm here to defend my team.
I beat both of these A teams. I can't say that I beat this other team.
And so. I am here. I will give my defenses for why my team is awesome. Whimsicott, a beast. Urshifu, insane. Duraludon. Why did no one pick this Pokemon? Because holy crap, I didn't realize how good Duraludon was when I picked him up. Holy crap, such a good Pokemon. I really liked my pickup of Gyarados. I think actually shored up a lot of things that I wasn't seeing. It was an Intimidator. Gave me a nice alternate plan if I didn't want to use my Whimsicott, doing the Raichu Gyarados line, which, I was talking to Vero Beach after we played, and he was like, I totally planned for Duraludon on Whimsicott, and you brought that in and just like totally threw me off for it. So, I think my team's good. I'm biased. I think it was a pretty damn good team.
No, I think it's a good team. Listen, I'll be happy to beat you in the finals.
We'll see. We'll see, kid. I got plans for you.
Kid, I think I'm older than you.
Probably. It's fine.
My back feels it anyway.
All right.
All right. So there's our two West teams. Can we agree no other team?
I will agree with you. I will settle.
All right. And this is like, if it would just let me lock in, that's where it would really be.
Yeah.
Like down here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's a big gap.
Sign off in the comments if you want to see us in the finals and watch this man lose.
Not happening this time. Not happening. All right, so PSG, very dedicated Trick Room team, but some good support Pokemon for sure. Some of the best. Where do you like Paris, Anthony?
I like them in the B range again. I really wish there was like one. Like Azumarill is great for offensive. Azumarill is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time for singles. But for an offensive Pokemon, like I wanted like a little bit more, like just too supporty with. But again, I think it's still a very good team.
Yeah. That's kind of the same thing I said preseason. Was I was like, I think this just needs like one or two
heavy hitters.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not sure who.
I mean, if you want to play into the Trick Room, I mean that's fine too. But just like get something that like is wicked slow and hits like a tank, and
pick up Snorlax.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick up another Snorlax, and that would have been something. But I mean, I think even when you're a dedicated Trick Room, you need you got 10 slots, right?
Yeah, you
can afford a couple to be like, okay, these aren't Trick Room Pokemon,
Yeah,
but,
I mean you want to have a backup plan. That's the bottom.
Yeah,
you need something to have a backup plan for.
Yeah. But... All right, so the Ducks, the mighty Psyducks.
So, God, I'm so mean to the Ducks this week. C team, I would say. C.
Yeah. I think that they coached them up this season more than what I was expecting.
More than what the team really kind of you thought would be able to do.
Yeah, I would put them like here.
I would agree with that spot.
Yeah. All right, we got the Reno Weezings. So they were the other rain team on the block. They also have a pretty dedicated Trick Room, so they can do a couple different things there. They made some good pickups, I think, late in the season.
I agree.
Trading with me to get Scrafty and Toxicroak, I think, was a solid pickup too. I think their team is better than their record shows.
I agree. Like I said, I think it's changed a good amount over the season. I think Dave's a really good player. I think he just kind of needed to get more in the swing of doubles to really kind of, I remember us talking during our match, and it was like the second match of the season, and he was just like, he was trying to make Toxicroak work when it was like, not Toxicroak.
Yeah,
Garbodor. And he was like, I'm just trying to make it work and nothing's working. And I'm like, maybe that's your problem.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's a D tier.
It's not great, dude. So I think, once he got in the swing of things, that's when his record started to reflect, his team's ability and his ability. So I would say, honestly, looking at them, like high B, low A is where I'm kind of at.
Yeah, I think
low A is even better. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I think like low A.
Yeah, like I think he could have easily gone 5-3. Soda just blitzed him down in his last game, and I guess he didn't have any answer for that. I don't think he brought his rain, which I think would have been the way to combat that.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I mean, are we really going to have a conversation about this?
We don't got to say nothing. we don't got to say nothing.
Good luck in the minors, bro. Bro.
Lo Siento. All right. Tokyo Togekiss. So their season really all turned around when they picked up Melmetal, which was their only free agent pickup. all season. Which does that just say that they're a little too reliant on Melmetal?
I'll be honest. Until I saw the Melmetal looking at their team, I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah, it's
Melmetal
kind
is
of
really the one I
Mimikyu
would.
and Melmetal, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hydreigon's great. I saw her use the Dust Noir.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
she uses Dust Noir quite a bit. Yep.
But I wasn't thoroughly impressed with the rest of the team. But I do think it is a really solid like that. Melmetal Mimikyu is a very solid kind of like core to that team. So to me, it's like high B's is kind of where I'm at, maybe.
Wow, you put a lot honestly, of stock in Melmetal.
Listen, the thing is literally, I'm not trying to be like an asshole here, but like I would have won that match handily without Melmetal. Like literally was the reason that match went. I think Melmetal is just. There's a reason why it doesn't show up outside of this league. That thing is disgusting. Yeah, I mean, maybe if we're looking at the full team, maybe it's more like lower BC, but
I want to almost put them below Minnesota.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they did beat Heat Rans and me, like two of the higher teams. But I mean, yeah, that again, Melmetal did a lot of that work.
Yeah, like that was like a lot of Melmetal stuff, right? And I think I think Miami almost made the full adjustment. Like they lost that first game, and then they made adjustment game 2, and they won very handily. And then I forget how they lost game 3, but I remember it was really close. So
yeah, and I think I remember talking about it here too. That there was a crit that kind of pretty much determined our match.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, so maybe like we'll put them C, I guess. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. I don't know. Maybe I'm also biased because I lost to them. I don't want the teams that beat me to be in C. Only to be in C.
Yeah, I'm a little cruel with this.
That's fine. I'll let you be cruel.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, Melmetal did a lot of work, and I really like the pickup and everything, but. When Melmetal dies, right?
The rest of the team is like,
yeah,
it's okay.
All right, and last but not least, we got the Vero Beach Volcaronas, the Vermilion City gym leader, all his electric types.
All the electric types.
All right. So, I mean, he's got Cinderace. Did he make any pickups? He did. He got Mesprit, which is an okay, support.
I wasn't impressed with Mesprit. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best. And he picked up Tornadus Therian, which again is kind of okay. It's a fast Tailwinder, but it doesn't have a gimmick to help it set up Tailwind.
It does hit pretty hard. It's got a pretty high special attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pure flying type is pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's a rare type. So I mean, yeah, I think it's a little too fragile of a team where I'm thinking again high C's, low B's. I'd probably put them above the Nidokings if we're gonna do them in C. I don't know, but I think they possibly could be a B too. But again, I'm very nice.
No, I think I would go here.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, but if we're doing this.
Are we banishing some to the D's?
Squirtle's kind of lonely down here.
All right, I think we put LA and El Paso there. I'll be honest.
And LA?
Yeah. LA, I was not super impressed with that team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
There we go. I like it.
Okay, so are we good with this?
I'm fine with it.
Are we good with this?
All right. I don't know. Is your ego good enough to share S? I don't know.
Like I said, for those watching, this is what it really is. Okay, for those watching, that's what it really is. But the coding can't handle that. So
can't do it.
All right, so let's take a look at what we had last season.
Sounds like a plan.
Is it gonna let me?
Or not?
One second. This thing always does this. Okay, I got that up.
It's okay. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah. All right, so this is what we had last time. So I guess we got
a lot of similarities.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh and Boston both moved up a rank.
Down a rank on Tuscaloosa.
Down a rank.
Down quite a bit
rank.
on Tuscaloosa, yeah.
How did Tokyo get in the A's and yet they improve with Melmetal, but we push them further down?
Maybe it's because you're a jerk. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know. I don't remember much of the original team makeup. What was their? Do we remember what their? I think they had one of the Urshifus.
Emax Urshifu, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rapid Strike.
Rapid Strike.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes the team much better.
No.
So
I think it was maybe built a lot on the potential of their team, because you saw like the trick room that they could do, and you're like, okay, if they pick up a couple things, but I wasn't expecting like Melmetal to be the thing.
Yeah, no, it looks like a lot of the teams were around in the same rank, like you said. Tuscaloosa is probably the biggest note of like the falling, down from like we were talking about earlier. I think that team
all
looked
these
a lot
teams
better.
were about the same. Yeah. So,
hey, Minnesota went up. Hey, good job, Minnesota.
Yeah,
improving the team. El Paso went down. Bureau's about the same. Charm City about the same. Yeah, we're about the same.
Yeah. Hey, I guess we know what we're talking about.
Hey, or something like that.
Or yeah, something like that. All right. So thanks, Anthony, for joining me. We'll post the link to this tier list down below. So for those who want to put me down in the F rank, to make yourself feel better, you can do that.
It will feel good.
It'll feel so good. But remember that there's a big gap. S rank is actually a really wide rank.
Sure. We're gonna go with that.
What? Actually, Anthony, while I got you on here, what are you gonna do during your bye week? Do you have any? Are you gonna do anything Pokemon or League related, or are you just gonna like take a break this week? You know what I mean?
Maybe help my fiance with the shiny hunting. He is currently working on a Rookity, but after that, he's gonna do a nice celebratory Polteageist for myself. So maybe help him out with that.
Even though you dropped Polteageist from your team,
that was sad.
You could have flaunted him.
It was a very sad day, I'll be honest. I was actually very sad to get rid of him. I was like, but he's my boy. And I was like, but he's been so bad in this league.
You could have picked up Sinistea as your D tier.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Just to have
for next season.
Yeah, just to have the the mascot there, just your little teacup.
Yeah, let's throw Eviolite on this terribly defensive Pokemon. Sounds great.
All right. So thanks again, Anthony, for joining me and breaking down all the teams. And we'll see you in the playoffs.
Pleasure to have me here. And remember, guys, in the comments, knock him down a bag. Okay? Take care.
All right, Socialites. It is the time you've all been waiting for. Time to check out your Season 4 All-Star teams. Let's take a look at the red team. Starting off, we got representing the Boston Braviaries, Jinx. Key support piece for Boston. Jinx would spread around fakeouts and lovely kisses, shutting down the opposing team. A great support Pokemon for the red team. Next up, we have Terrakion representing the Minnesota Neato Kings. Terrakion, a strong offensive Pokemon, very fast, bad defensive typing, but it can hit like a rock. Up next, we have Incineroar representing Paris Saint-Germain. Incineroar, one of the few Pokemon that could operate outside of Trick Room. Great support tools in Fake Out, Snarl, Parting Shot, and always got a very strong Flare Blitz. Next up we have Melmetal representing the Tokyo Togekiss. Melmetal really turned around Tokyo's season. halfway through and racked up an amazing 19 KOs in a short amount of time, earning its all-star spot representing Tokyo. Next, we got Naganadel of the Driftvale City Dragapults. Naganadel, a scary Dynamax sweeper whose Beast Boost made it stronger with every KO it got, allowing the Dragapults to steamroll through unprepared teams. Will it be the same in the All-Star game? And the last member of the red team is G-Max Venusaur of the Mighty Psyducks. G-Max Venusaur, one of the few Pokemon that the Mighty Psyducks has used throughout the seasons, so he knows a thing or two about that team. Now let's take a look at the blue team. First up, we have Whimsicott representing the Pittsburgh Polteageist. Whimsicott's Tailwind, Prankster Taunt, really allowing it to be a Swiss Army knife of a support Pokemon. Will it be able to control the speed for the blue team? Coming up next on the blue team is Galarian Moltres representing the Miami Heatrans. Moltres made a big name for itself early, was a KO leader through most of the season, struggled in the last couple games, but we'll have to see how it does in the All-Star game here representing Miami. Next up we have the Excadrill representing Denver. Excadrill was a huge part of Denver's offense with its teammate Tyranitar Sand the Sand. No sand user in this All-Star game, so maybe we'll see Mold Breaker Excadrill taking the field this time. Next blue team goes to Glastrier representing the Reno Weezings. Glastrier, a fearsome Trick Room sweeper. How will it fare in the All-Star game here? It has a lot of great coverage moves in Steel, Ground, Ice, Fighting. We'll have to see how it plays out. Next we have G-Max Cinderace representing the Vero Beach Volcarona. Almost the poster child for Vero Beach the last couple seasons. None of the electric types from Vero Beach made it to the All-Star game, but Cinderace is a Swiss Army knife offensive Pokemon with Libero. And last but not least on the blue team, we have the Charm City Charizard's representative Dragonite. A fearsome Dynamax Pokemon able to have inner focus so it won't be intimidated, or multi-scale so it can survive a big hit early. Now let's take a look at both of these teams and we'll go over a little bit about what makes the All-Star game so special. So this season, the teams will be coached by Ali. Head coach the Mighty Psyducks will be coaching the red team, and the blue team will be coached by Cole, head coach the Driftvale City Dragapults. So they will play a best of 3. In the first game, they can bring any 4 out of the 6, and in the second game, they have to bring the other 2 they didn't bring, plus any 2 that they already used. And then if it goes to a game 3, they can again use any that they want. But all the All-Stars will get at least 1 game to be played. So let me know down in the comments which team you think has the best All-Star representation. If you think there was a team that should have had a different All-Star, let me know as well. And we'll see you next week for the All-Star game.